Welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be doing a review of The Girl Who Could See by Kara Swanson. I'm going to make a disclaimer right here and say that I do not give summaries of the books that I read. You may have noticed that in my past videos. I honestly hadn't even thought about it, but I am really horrible at giving summaries and synopsis, and since I haven't been including that, I'm not going to include a summary of the book. I'm not summarizing it for you. I'm not necessarily giving a book report. I am just telling you what I liked, what I didn't like, what I thought about the characters and the plot and the structure and the timing and whatever else, the writing, what I thought of it, but not necessarily a summary. If you want a summary of any of these books, you can always find those on Amazon or Goodreads or just the internet somewhere, and they'll be much better summaries than I could ever give. So when I do these videos, it is not to give a summary, it is just to give my opinion. And again, my opinion is not the end-all be-all. I am just going off of what I like and what I have learned through reading and writing. And that doesn't mean that I'm always right, and it doesn't mean that just because I like a book or don't like one, that you should respectively like it or not like it. Everyone has different preferences, different opinions, and just different genres or styles that they like. So just because I don't like something in a book doesn't mean that it shouldn't have been there or that it was wrong, or that you won't like it. Maybe that is something that you do enjoy. So please don't take these as me criticizing everything that an author does if I don't like something about their book. It might just be something that I didn't like in that book, or it might just be a preference that I have that doesn't mean they're not a good writer or that their book wasn't good. It's just my preference. Okay, disclaimers out of the way, let's get into reviewing The Girl Who Could See. This is a novella by Kara Swanson. It's become rather popular, I think, in the last few years. I mean, it is relatively new. It was published in 2017, but it has become very popular very quickly, and for a good reason. I really enjoyed this novella. It was very interesting and very action-packed, and the plot kept moving very quickly, so I did really enjoy it. I think the concept was very original and very intriguing. I mean, things like this may have been done before, things that are similar, but this exact concept I haven't seen before, and I think it was very well done. And it did seem fairly new and fairly interesting. So that was a definite plus, that it's a very different book, very original book. Kara Swanson gives us a nice intro to the main character, Fern, and she's right away a very likable character, and you definitely want to see her succeed, and the reader definitely feels for her. She's very likable. And that's always very important. I like stories with likable characters. If I don't like the characters, I'm not as likely to like the story, even if the plot is good and everything. I have to connect with the characters, and I really did connect with Fern. She was very easy to root for. Right away, the first chapter is a pretty good hook. In my opinion, some of it did seem a little bit forced, but then as you go on, the interactions between the two characters in the beginning, and especially the FBI agent, they get a lot more natural, and he seems a lot more natural. The beginning, I think, just something about his beginning dialogue seemed a little bit off to me, but it might not have been at all. Dialogue is just something that, I really love and I like to write, and I don't know, something about it seemed a little bit off to me, but the agent is a very likable character, and I think he's well developed throughout the novella, and I mean, he seems totally natural throughout the book, so I don't know what it was about the first chapter. Maybe it's just because it was a completely new thing, and so I hadn't really gotten used to the writing style or anything like that, but it was a very good hook. It's definitely pulls you in. Kara has amazing imagery throughout the book. That's something that she writes very well, so that keeps it interesting. I think Kara Swanson also did an incredible job of writing Eleanor, Fern's niece. She's a young child, and she's very believably young. I have 3 nieces and 3 nephews, and most of them are very young right now, and so I like to see how children are portrayed in books, and I think it's very commendable when someone can portray a child in a way that makes them seem like a child, because it can be very difficult sometimes, but Kara did an amazing job with Eleanor, and I loved her. And at some of the more intense moments, I tried to put my nieces in Eleanor's place sometimes and think, what would I do in that situation? And how would they feel? So it was easier then for me to relate to Fern because I have nieces, and, some of the things that happen in the book, I can't imagine them happening. to my nieces, and I think all those scenes between Eleanor and Fern were written very well. This sort of story is definitely my style or genre, the type that I like to read. I like action-packed books, books that just keep moving along and keep you interested, and I like fantasy or science fiction, and this definitely falls in that realm. I would say science fiction, I guess, but I sometimes mix the two because they can be very easily mixed, but this would be more science fiction. I guess science fiction just makes me think of like aliens and stuff like that, but it was very quick moving and very interesting, and it took me longer to read than it should have because I was involved in a lot of other things at the time. But when I could sit down to read it, I didn't want to put it down, and I just wanted to see how it ended. Very good. I definitely did enjoy it, and I can definitely see this book being turned into a movie. Like, I don't know if that's something Kara Swanson would ever pursue, because some authors just want their books to be books, and there's nothing wrong with that. It is an amazing book, and it's the type of book where if it were turned into a movie, I would hope that everybody who watched the movie would read the book too, because it's incredible. And I don't think a movie could make it better, but it definitely has a lot of qualities that I can definitely see being turned into a movie. So that's always really cool with a book, when you can picture it in your head and picture the scenes moving along like a movie. So I said before that it seems like a very original book, not necessarily completely new. Like I said, the concept is probably out there somewhere, but it was maybe a rather common theme with a very unique twist. So even if there are books kind of like this with a similar theme, I don't think there's anything exactly like this, which it's hard to find two books that are exactly like, but I don't really think there's a concept that comes too close to this either. It was a very, very unique twist on the concept. And again, like I said, I don't do summaries and I don't want to give too much away, so I'm not really going to give you the plot line, but you can always go check it out on Amazon. The synopsis is right there, and that would be a lot more helpful than anything I could say. But when you do check it out, just know that it's very unique, and I think it was a very incredible book. I did really like it. I'm not sure that Kara Swanson's writing style is my personal favorite, but there's nothing wrong with it. It's engaging and fun and a good book. So my overall review is that this was definitely worth the read, and I am very glad to have it on my shelf now.
Can we just take a moment to appreciate how gorgeous that cover is? Like, I didn't mention it in my review, I don't know why, but it is just gorgeous. And that is what really drew me to the book, is that the cover is just fantastic. So yeah, let's just appreciate that gorgeous cover.
Well, that was my review of The Girl Who Could See by Kara Swanson. I hope it was helpful. If you've been debating getting this book, hopefully that helped you decide. As always, I hope you have a blessed day.